What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and for today's WWE news video, I have no idea how I'm going to title this video once I post it, but there is a whole lot to talk about, and I mean that quite literally, including the latest on why WWE released Shane McMahon and the Brian Kendrick. Why? We'll find out. And I gotta move my desk. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Sorry guys, I had to move my desk and my camera. There we go. Yeah, so including delays on why Shane McMahon and the Brian Kendrick were released by WWE. Kurt Angle set to come back to WWE? Who knows? Dolph Ziggler going to challenge for the NXT Championship? What the hell is that about? And then this first one that I'm going to talk about is a rather interesting topic. So, as you guys are well aware, Jackass Forever, big shout outs to the movie, will be released in less than a couple of weeks, and over the course of the last few weeks, Johnny Knoxville, one of the hosts of Jackass, had made several appearances on SmackDown and is in a rivalry with Sami Zayn. He made his in-ring debut in the men's Royal Rumble match this past weekend, and did not get a single elimination, of course, but and just last night, just yesterday, WWE had posted a video on their official YouTube page with Sami Zayn going to the premiere, to the Jackass Forever premiere here in LA, which was hella crazy. He ended up getting kicked out. It was actually pretty funny. Excuse me. And WWE had sent out a survey asking the fans about Johnny Knoxville's appearances, and apparently it featured questions about the quality of the matches across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT 2.0. Asking the fans whether they'd like to see more of Knoxville on WWE TV going forward, and apparently it's an astounding yes. So apparently WWE wants to have Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 30 in Dallas. It's very possible, but only time will tell. Honestly, I'm not too surprised that the fans want to see Johnny Knoxville on WWE TV a lot more often. But I think once the movie comes out, once the movie officially comes out, then we will see him a lot more often on WWE TV. You know, like on SmackDown or whatnot. Maybe we'll see him on Raw. Maybe we'll see him on NXT for all we know. Who the hell knows? But honestly, I love the idea of Johnny Knoxville facing off against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. I would love to see that. I will admit it's kind of interesting because Johnny Knoxville has done so many stunts over the years, including doing 4 Jackass movies, and I think a few seasons of the show itself, the TV show, which aired on MTV for so many years. But it's it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like a double-edged sword in this matter, because when you think about it, WWE has had celebrities and tycoons, and rap, and music artists from all over the world show up to their shows, but there have only been a few who have ever wrestled on WWE grounds, and there's been a few, but I think Johnny Knoxville probably might be the best one, in my personal opinion. But that being said, could we see Kurt Angle back on WWE TV? So, apparently, the Hall of Famer announced that he was set to return. That he's set to return to WWE TV within the next month or so. On his own podcast, the Kurt Angle Show podcast, big shout out, no copyrights, of course. Y'all know how this works with the algorithm. He confirmed that he was contacted by WWE to return as an on-screen character, and he went on to say, quote, "Yes, I did get a call from WWE, and they want me to be involved in the show for the next month or so. I'm really excited about it, so we'll see what's in store for me." Fightful, big shout out, no copyrights, of course, reported previously that they were planning on bringing him in during the Royal Rumble weekend, but unfortunately, that was not meant to be. They were interested in using Kurt Angle for an on-screen role, and that on-screen role is actually none other than being with Chad Gable and Otis, the Alpha Academy, which is a very interesting development, if you will. Shelton Benjamin posted a photo, or rather shared a photo on his social media, a photo of himself with Kurt Angle at the Royal Rumble, confirming that he was backstage on Saturday. So, is it possible? Absolutely. I must admit, him working with the Alpha Academy could be interesting, but think of it this way: if they do put him with the Alpha Academy, this means that Kurt Angle may end up turning heel, but knowing the fans, they'll still love Kurt Angle. They'll still love him. They'll still chant "You suck." That's just how it is. But honestly, Kurt Angle coming back, I'm all for it. Not much else to say about that. Next up, Dolph Ziggler challenging for the NXT title. Is it possible? Could it happen? Very possible. Very possible that it could happen. Apparently, he teased an appearance on NXT 2.0, responding to the recent shots that were fired by the NXT champion Bron Breakker. In a backstage confrontation from last week that was shared to social media, NXT 2.0 star LA Knight actually confronted the Dirty Dogs, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, and this was right before they told LA Knight that they don't work Tuesdays. And apparently Bron Breakker took to Twitter and said, quote, says he doesn't work on Tuesdays. Apparently he can't work on Saturday either. It's a reference to the fact that he got eliminated pretty quickly in the men's Royal Rumble match, which was hilarious, I have to admit. in a backstage interview after Raw went off the air, Dolph Ziggler reacted to the comments, saying that he might go over there and challenge for the NXT title. Honestly, it's one of the few championships in WWE that Dolph Ziggler has never held in his whole career, and apparently. And apparently, this is truth be told, this is very interesting because if he does visit NXT, he would just be the second Raw superstar this year, within this past year, to go to be in a rivalry with an NXT 2.0 star. Which was followed by, obviously, AJ Styles dealing with Grayson Waller last month. And apparently there have been reports indicating that NXT plans on, or rather they want to use, some of the veterans to help the younger talent excel in the ring, and Dolph Ziggler might be the latest, which is a possibility. But the last time Bron Breakker had defended the NXT title, it was actually back in New Year's Evil several weeks ago, defeating Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT title. So his first title defense will indeed be against Santos Escobar, but I'm assuming we might not see it at Vengeance Day in 2 weeks. But knowing Bron Breakker, he'll definitely defend it. He'll definitely defend the title against Santos, possibly at New Year's Evil. So I am definitely excited for it. But we will see what happens. We'll see what happens in the foreseeable future. But we will see in the upcoming weeks, because for the next 2 weeks, both Raw and NXT will be taking place on Sci-Fi. Because of the Winter Olympics. So big shout outs to everybody who will be competing in the Winter Olympics. Shout outs to you guys. Best of luck to you guys. I'll be rooting for you guys. Now for this. Brian Kendrick, Shane McMahon both have been released by WWE. But the question is why? Well, apparently the news of Shane McMahon was being let go was reported by Ringside News. Big shout outs to them. No copyrights, of course. Apparently he was quietly let go over the weekend, and it was because he had agented the men's Royal Rumble match, putting himself in it, which It's Shane. I mean, you can't really. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not too surprised. I know that he left WWE back in I think, what was it, 2009, 2010? It was like right around there, and then he ended up coming back like 6-7 years later to try to run WWE, and he did, and he pretty much got what he wanted, even though he lost to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. So he ended up getting his way either way, but apparently it's been again. It was reported by WWE, or rather by Ringside News, that he was released from WWE. But the question is why? Why did Shane McMahon get released from WWE? Well, Well, apparently there have been a lot of issues between him and Vince, his father Vince, in the backstage. And apparently Wade Keller of PW Torch, big shout out again, big shout outs, no copyrights. Y'all know how this works with the algorithm. Noted that things got very heated between Shane and Vince at the Royal Rumble, and that the relationship between the two had been strained for some time. He said, quote, "Things really unraveled with him and his dad on Saturday. Things were not good, according to what I heard." He also went on to say, quote, "But the issues with Shane really got to the next level with Vince when it came to what was planned for Raw, and that Shane had real problems with how he was going to be framed, as he was going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And also, Shane disagreed with what Vince wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. It was laid out to Shane that the plans were what the plans were, and he didn't like it, and he pushed back, and that led to Vince just finally having enough, canceling all plans with Shane, everything that they had planned with him." Yeah. Apparently, Keller had said that it was the last straw for Vince. So I'm not really too surprised, but knowing knowing Shane, he'll come back at some point. He will definitely come back at some point. But as far as the Brian Kendrick, apparently it's been reported that he's no longer with WWE, and he was expected to be a part of AEW this week, but unfortunately that did not come to pass, as apparently that did not come to pass. Apparently, again, I don't watch AEW, just as a disclaimer to you guys. I know that one of my followers on Instagram asked me about that, and I said I don't watch AEW. So if you guys did not watch that Q&A video, I recommend watching it. You guys will understand why. But I've heard of AEW. I've seen a few clips off of social media. I've seen some tweets, but apparently Tony Khan had sent out a tweet this week saying that because of Kendrick's smart ass remarks from years past, apparently he did not compete on AEW yesterday, as apparently John Moxley went up against someone else. It was reported that Moxley would face off against Kendrick, but that didn't come to pass. So, but that being said, but that being said, truth be told, Kendrick actually requested his WWE release and was waiting for WWE to grant it, which is similar to how Mustafa Ali was waiting, but Mustafa Ali actually was denied his release. So it's kind of interesting how Kendrick was released of his contract, but Mustafa Ali was not. Kind of interesting, but Fightful Select, big shout out, no copyrights of course. According to them, Kendrick was indeed granted his release and is no longer with WWE. But funny enough, he was supposed to have competed against Harlan on NXT, but that never came to pass because of the COVID-19 protocols. I know. I shouldn't have said COVID-19, but it is what it is. But honestly, that's honestly, that's fucked up. That is 100% fucked up because people forget that he is a former tag team champion. He's a former cruiserweight champion. And when he competed in that championship scramble for the WWE title, excuse me, back in 2008, if I remember correctly, and Unforgiven 08, he was WWE champion for like a minute. So he was one of the top megastars in WWE, especially in the tag team division on SmackDown. He was a dominant tag team champion, and he even became a dominant cruiserweight champion when 205 Live actually meant something, to be honest. But I will admit, it's so unfortunate. It is so unfortunate that we're no longer going to be seeing Kendrick in WWE. We might see him come back at some point. But only time will tell. Only time will tell. But that brings me to the question of the day. Do you guys want to see Bron Breakker defend his NXT Championship against Dolph Ziggler? Let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say about that. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want to see more WWE news videos which get posted every Thursday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any family you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.